I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about the ketogenic diet, and I'm personally invested in this type of diet because last year, around the same exact time, I found out that I had cancer. And I have to tell you, there's nothing like that moment when you're sitting in the doctor's office and they tell you you have cancer. The amount of dread and stress that settles into your system at that exact moment is really not something that you can put into words. Let's just say that if I could rewind my little clock and go back to when that moment happened, I never would have drove to the office by myself, because driving home was like driving on drugs. It's hard to describe, but you just were not present or fully in your body to be able to actually drive home. And I was real happy that I made it home alive. The whole issue with finding out you have cancer, and this is a thing about stress and about what I do, which turned out to be really fascinating to me about the whole issue, was that when you find out you have cancer, one of the issues that are going on is that obviously your immune system was probably not working fully up to par, because you have something that's developed inside your body that's not supposed to be there, and your immune system is supposed to take care of it. Well, at the moment you find out you have cancer, your immune system shuts off completely. And why is that? Because you go completely into a full-on stress response, and the amount of fear that settles into your system immediately completely shuts off your immune system. Now think about that. Logically, your immune system is there to help regulate and to get rid of damaged cells and to make sure that things don't progress to the point of getting cancer. But your body shuts it off whenever you have a stress response. And why is that? You don't need your immune system or to channel any energy to running that particular part of your body when you're in a fear situation or you're fearful for your life. And that's basically what happens when a doctor tells you you have cancer. And so I went home, and believe me, I settled into about 2 weeks of dread, trying to figure out what I was going to do, what my plan was. And this is what's fascinating to me, because I'm the stress guy. I've been dedicating my life to figuring out stress and how it works in your body for the last 20 years. I know that someone's immune system shuts off completely when they're told that they have cancer. I know that when you're in a fear-based frame of mind that your immune system doesn't work. I knew all these things sitting in my living room, but I was still stuck in that mode. And I realized I had to do something to get out of it. I realized there was a lot of issues as to why I got cancer. There was some emotional things involved with it, some things I wasn't looking at completely in my life. And I started to realize, it was an opportunity to learn how to heal, but I had to deal with the stress. And as you know, I make a drink called Dietary, which is for stress, but I use that all the time. And I have a product called Inner Peace, which I didn't use that often. It came in a cap. It was just the herbal part of Tianqi, but by itself, it's more of a complete, just purely stress tonic. And so I started using that, which I now look back and laugh about it because, as my own product, I didn't use it very often at all. And I started using it 4 or 5 capsules 2 to 3 times a day. And I'm telling you, the results I got out of that were magical. Within about 3 days, a fog lifted off of my brain, and all of a sudden, I engaged in a program of action. I actually jumped into the internet. I started doing all kinds of research. I came up with a complete herbal program for my cancer. I got a hold of a friend who had gotten over his brain cancer with a ketogenic diet, got some advice, ordered a meter, went into ketosis within like 2 days, which was easy for me because I was on a fat-based diet, and the ketogenic diet actually for cancer was just another degree of that. So I didn't have to go through a fasting period. I didn't have to go through this long wait to get into ketosis. I was there in about 2 days, and I was measuring everything. I got into the zone, and about 5 weeks into it, I have what I tell people a spontaneous remission. I knew at the instant it happened that my cancer was gone. And I confirmed that 3 weeks later when I had another biopsy. My doctor was in complete shock. He still is. I've had another biopsy since then, and he can't find a single thing. I've had scans, there's nothing anywhere in my body. And I had a type of cancer that the standard treatment was removal of your bladder, your prostate, and to make a bag out of your intestines to urinate in for the rest of my life. That was the stage I was at, and today I'm cancer-free, don't have a trace of anything in my body. Now, I attribute that to the ketogenic diet. Learned about adaptogenic herbs years ago, and I started taking that formula that I already had and made that the main bulk of my herbal program, along with the herbs that I researched for inflammation and interfering with the way that cancer cells replicate. And that's basically what I did. And that program, and I think in the diet, just saved my life. And you know, it's kind of funny, when I went into surgery after I had my spontaneous remission, 3 weeks later, I knew I didn't have cancer. It was actually one of the most fun experiences of my life, going into the hospital and having surgery and finding out that I didn't have cancer. Not just that I found out I didn't have cancer, but just the whole experience, because I already knew. And so this is why I'm passionate about the ketogenic diet for extreme health issues. I don't think the average person needs to really go on a ketogenic diet that much, so much as they need to just regulate their sugar, whether it's paleo, eating fat as your main energy source, or getting into a nutritional ketosis. And there's great books out there, believe me. You can research Joseph Mercola. You can look at Rob Wolf's book on the paleo diet. You can look at Dr. Hyman's books on Eat Fat, Get Thin. All those books have these nuggets of wisdom in them that teach you about changing your metabolism and how healthy fat is for you as opposed to sugar. And there's no reason to wait until you get cancer to decide to change your diet and get on a healthier lifestyle.